When I was dealing with a constant sense of overwhelm and post-traumatic stress, I thought I needed a big adventure.
Like this one, to have big mental health changes.
But according to science, we don't need more time. We just need the right moment. And that's what these 3 quick nature adventures are for. So it's time to go outside and feel better.
Hey, Adventure Buddy. Even if you are stressed, busy, broke, or stuck in the city, this Sneak It In Stress Buster, as I like to call it, literally changes the feeling of overwhelm, anxiety, and fatigue in your body. It gives you one of the happy hormones called endorphins. And in a 2019 study published in Frontiers in Psychology, they found that it only took 10 minutes in nature or something with natural features 3 times a week to reduce the stress hormone called cortisol. They also found it increased your parasympathetic nervous system and enhanced prefrontal cortex function.
That's just a sciencey way to say it helps you relax, get a sense of space, and think more clearly. Thanks, master's degree.
For you to do the Sneak It In Stress Buster, as I like to call it, you literally just need 10 minutes, ideally 3 times per week. But the study I mentioned did find that participants who did 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week had more notable mental health benefits.
Now, this is very simple, but to do it right, there are 3 core rules. They're the same rules for all 3 of these activities, and I will share them at the very end. Our ancestors were constantly tuning into their environment to survive. And you and I need to do the same thing, not to survive in terms of food, water, and shelter, but to survive the constant overwhelm and stimulation of modern life. Our brains really haven't changed that much, despite our environment changing substantially. But if you don't have 10 to 20, 30 minutes 3 times a week, that's okay. This next one is for you. It's called the nature microdose. Not that kind of microdose. Okay, that's not legal anywhere except Oregon, so calm down. And you don't even have to leave your house. You may not even have to leave your desk to do this one.
This one is particularly good for when you're feeling scattered or disconnected. It helps you cultivate presence, reduce a sense of anxiety, and personally, I have found it helps me be more accepting of myself and more loving of myself. But that's just my experience. According to the science, this is a sensory grounding activity which activates your insular cortex and reduces your amygdala reactivity.
And that's just another sciencey way to say it wakes up the parts of your brain that work on self-awareness, and it calms down the parts of your brain that trigger your fight, flight, or freeze response, your fear center. This is basically just a modern sit spot, and if you've done any survival stuff, you've heard of this.
What's great about this one is the time commitment.
I've honestly never even noticed those flowers before today, and now I'm going to see that beauty everywhere.
You literally only need 5 to 15 minutes. It can be at your house. It can even be indoors looking at something like a plant. But the goal is to really engage with your 5 senses.
Now, if this sounds familiar to you, it's because it's something humans have been doing for thousands of years called sit spot. You see it in all these different indigenous cultures. You see it when you get really into earth skills, primitive survival skills. It helps you tune in to your natural environment, but also yourself. It's not just a mindfulness, an awareness, grounding connection practice. It's a spiritual practice. And it's even better if you can sit in the same spot throughout the year. That way you're really getting a sense of the cyclical change of nature and within yourself. But perhaps one of the most underrated and least spoken about skills that you can use, and our ancestors did, is what I call open sky, open mind.
This tiny adventure is particularly good for clearing the muck of modern life, for when you're stuck in your own head, or the notifications get overwhelming, or you feel like you don't have time. Friend, when you feel like you don't have time, you need to do the open sky, open mind tiny adventure. It creates a sense of space physically, mentally, emotionally. It can lead to that feeling of awe you get when you're out in the woods for a long time. And Technically speaking, it decreases the activity in your default mode network and releases dopamine.
That's a sciencey way to say it decreases activity in the part of your brain that thinks about yourself and tends to lead to spiraling and anxiety that keeps you up at night. And it increases the activity in your brain that leads to a sense of connection and also inspiration. And aside from that, you're regulating your nervous system, which means your physical body is going to be more relaxed, even if you're not going for a walk or even moving at all.
To do this one, similar to the last little microdose, you really just need to set a timer and have a clear view of the sky any time of day. Let yourself just watch the sky. And if you get bored, that's actually a good thing. In modern life, we don't get the rest and digest experiences we need that lead to things like shower thoughts or that eureka moment. Remember, there's no goal here. You're just letting your eyes and mind kind of merge with the openness of the sky. And you'll probably see a few things that you like that you didn't notice were there before. But this goes so much deeper than just feeling more spacious. This is actually a huge part of our evolution as human beings.
Even the island I am on now was discovered because of people looking up to the sky. I live in Hawaii. And whether humans were looking at the weather, whether they were navigating with the stars or looking to the sky for spiritual connection, humans have always found clarity and connection by looking up. And you can too. But not if you're doing it without the 3 core rules I keep mentioning that all of these activities need so that you can actually get those brain benefits. If you don't do these 3 things, you're just going through the motions. But don't worry, they're very, very simple. Unlike the modern world that is stressing you out, you don't have to go big or go home in these activities. In fact, rule number 1 is that consistency is more important than perfection. You just show up and you're nailing rule number 1. You got it. Rule number 2 is to engage your 5 senses. All of this is really about regulating your nervous system, which is how you get calm. Smell, hear the wind going through the leaves, feel the sun on your face, engage your 5 senses so you can come to a present state. And last and definitely not least, the most important rule is your intention. Nature is a place you can go and be your natural self. So just set the intention to show up authentically and give yourself a little break from the chaos of modern life. And if you still need a nature escape after that, you can watch this video or this video. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and I made it, so hopefully you do. Okay, thanks. Happy trails. Bye.